Junior Urban Adventure, Women in Professional Sports.
While at Boston University, the women's varsity ice hockey coach, Mr. DeRocher, showed us some athletic facilities, such as the men and women's ice hockey rinks, newly installed indoor track and field, and other academic centers. He explained that the men and women are treated very equally, though the men's programs are more supported and funded. The Boston University's women's programs seem to be continually progressing.
Sitting down with Chris Collins, a New Hampton School alum who is also the host of Sports Late Night on New England Cable Network, we discussed the development of women's sports nationwide and here at New Hampton. When Chris Collins was a student at New Hampton School, it was known that women's athletics were a joke. Returning last fall, he couldn't believe the growth of women's sports teams. He placed a great deal of importance on strong recreational sports at a young age. The lack of professional female athletes and women's teams leave young girls with nothing to strive for. Chris says, to further women's athletics, greater opportunities for media coverage need to be more available.
Attending the Bruins vs. Devils game was a good way to compare fan base, media coverage, and quality of play between men's and women's sports before talking to Paul Hendrickson, the general manager of the Boston Blades.
Paul Hendrickson is the general manager of the Boston Blades, which is the first professional women's team in the United States. While talking to Hendrickson, we learned about the development of women's professional hockey in Canada and the United States, and how it has been attempted to be organized many times, but had failed due to the lack of popularity and finance. He said that the competition is outstanding, including Olympic and national players, but that is not enough to grab the attention of fans to keep their support alive. He plans on advertising more. He believes if people are informed about the team, then the support will come. Hendrickson's players play for the love of the game, and that is their only reason. As the team prospers in the future, he might attract more athletes who are driven by money rather than the pure love of the game. He wants to continue looking for players like Angela Ruggiero, Karen Thatcher, and his very own Sherry Hendrickson. All three of these players have sacrificed time and money just so they would be able to perform for the Boston Blades. In men's hockey, there is a question that is often asked. Do they play for money or do they play for the love of the game? Well, when it comes to girls hockey, that question is answered every time a girl laces up her skates. It's simply because there's nothing else in the world they would rather be doing than play ice hockey.
Women's sports or men's sports? And why?
Destinations tree is
They suppose I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
depends.
I watch?
Yeah.
I watch both.
Both? You like both? And so, what would you prefer?
What I prefer
To watch. Yeah.
to watch? Well, I really like to watch hockey.
Hockey? Cool. Men's or women's?
Men's or women's sport?
Men's.
A women's or men's like sporting event?
Men's.
Men's? Why?
Because there's hitting in men's sports.
Oh, okay, cool.
And,
Who are you kidding? Oh, God.
yeah. And it's just more like fast paced.
Alright.
What would make you watch women's sports?
I wouldn't.
Just because that's what you're used to? Yeah.
There's not enough time.
So, what would make you watch women's sports over men's?
Maybe if it's the same, like if it's a thing, like you say new now, the hockey. I like to see if it's the same, like the Bruins. For me, it's no matter. See if it's woman or man.
So you like supporting this?
Watching it. Probably.
Okay. Okay. It's okay.
I'd watch volleyball, beach volleyball.
Why? Okay. So if other
Bikinis.
so if other sports, It's a common answer, you it's fine. watch those too.
Yeah.
Alright.
If women met the requirements, should they be allowed to play with men in pro sports? Why or why not?
Yes, why not? Yes, they should be allowed. And
as good as, I mean, they're the same as men, you know, equal opportunities.
Yeah.
Sure. Change here for the blue line. Doors will open on the left.
Everybody's equal.
It's true.
Of course, I think so. They meet the requirement.
Alright.
Like meet physical and athletic requirements, then there's no problem.
How can the fan base for women's sports be cultivated?
Probably add some more contact into the sport. I think that's where it's lacking the most.
Alright. And in the 2002 World Cup,
I don't really know.
Close.
It's. I don't think there's much of a fan base already for like women's sports.
Alright, so it couldn't be hurt. But
in the 2002 World Cup, a women's quarterfinalist would receive $25,000 and the winners $58,000. In the same year, a men's quarterfinalist received $200,000. Do you think this is fair? And
I think it's fair because of the viewer ratings. There's just more money in the men's World Cup.
That's not fair, but I mean the men are playing at a higher level just by. If you like compare a man soccer player to a women's soccer player, I mean, there's gonna be some differences.
okay. Good answer.
Dear whom it may concern, I am writing on behalf of a group of 11th grade female athletes from the New Hampton School in New Hampton, New Hampshire. We have spent the past 2 days in Boston investigating the differences between men's and women's athletics. We focused on comparing and contrasting resources and opportunity at the collegiate levels and beyond for both parties. Our encounters on this trip inspired me to write this letter. Our final meeting was with Boston Blades manager Paul Hendrickson. Before this meeting, I was unaware that a professional women's hockey league even existed. However, I found that unfortunately I am not a minority in my ignorance. The Professional Women's Hockey League lacks publicity and media attention. Therefore, young female athletes like myself are unaware of its existence. I believe that it is important to create awareness of this league. There are several benefits to creating excitement and recognition through publicity for the CWHL. First, young girls would benefit because it would provide them with a dream. Second, the CWHL and especially the Boston Blades represent integrity, dedication, and perseverance, which are rare attributes that should be recognized and rewarded. These women are pioneers in creating a professional level for women's sports, and they deserve to be properly credited for their hard work. Which brings me to the purpose of my letter to you. I would like to request that your magazine complete and publish a report on the CWHL and specifically the beginning of the Boston Blades program. In our current world, so focused on equality and fair opportunity, it is surprising to see the vast divides in support and media coverage between men's and women's professional sports. I ask your publication to please take action and give the amazing women who are sacrificing so much for the love of their sport the credit they are due by writing about them in one of your upcoming issues. Sincerely and best wishes, the New Hampton School Women's in Pro.